You know, there are these stories from history that just stick with you, don't they?
Yeah.
There's one from Japan, a true story, which feels, well, incredibly powerful even today.
Absolutely. We're going deep on this one. The true story of the 47 Ronin. It all happened in Edo, which we now call Tokyo, around 300 years back, spring of 1701, actually.
And the setup is just, wow. You've got Lord Asano. He's a daimyo, so like a regional ruler with his own samurai warriors, right?
Exactly. And he's in the shogun's palace getting lessons in court ceremony from another lord, Lord Kira.
But by the end of just one day, Asano is dead. And his samurai, suddenly masterless.
Yeah.
Ronin.
Yeah, and to really get the weight of that, you need to know a few terms. Samurai, obviously, the warriors living by bushido, that's their code of honor.
Right. And daimyo, we mentioned, the regional lord.
Yeah.
The shogun, he's the top military ruler under the emperor.
And Ronin, that's a samurai without a master. A tough spot to be in, really. Deeply dishonorable in that society. So much so that seppuku ritual suicide by cutting the stomach was sometimes seen as the only honorable way out.
Living without honor was worse than death.
Yeah.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is.
And this story, often called Shushigura, it's just woven into Japanese culture, isn't it? Plays, songs, movies.
Oh, definitely. It's been retold countless times. Still resonates today. The main players you need to know are Lord Kira Yoshinaka, sometimes called Kirakuzuka no Suke Yoshinaka. Then Lord Asano Naganori, the daimyo from Akko Castle. His title was Asano Takumi no Kami Naganori.
Got it.
And crucially, Oishi Yoshio, or Oishi Kuronosuke Yoshio. He was the captain, the head samurai for Lord Asano. Later on, we'll also meet Digaku, Asano's brother, Oishi's son Shikara, and Oishi's wife Riku. They all become important.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack those first events, the spark that lit this whole incredible and frankly tragic story. Let's get right into it then. The death of Asano.
Okay, picture this. Edo, 1701. Inside the shogun's palace, you have Lord Kira, described as sort of tall, often in black. He's 60.
Okay.
And he's watching Lord Asano, who's much younger, just 34. Kira is supposed to be teaching Asano palace ceremony.
But it sounds like things were tense between them.
Very. The accounts suggest Kira gave these cold greetings, and Asano's bows back were, well, noticeably smaller, less respectful. And apparently, Kira wasn't shy about calling Asano slow or stupid.
Ouch. That wouldn't go down well.
No, Asano definitely resented it. And you have to understand, ceremony in the shogun's palace was everything. Every word, every bow, the clothes you wore, even who you gave presents to and when, it was all prescribed. Extremely high pressure.
So Asano's feeling frustrated with all this ritual and Kira's teaching style, which sounds pretty harsh.
Exactly. He felt like he was constantly messing up, constantly having to bow, and Kira's just piling on the insults. You can sort of feel the pressure cooker building.
Was there anyone advising Asano?
Well, one of his samurai, a guy named Hayami, suggested maybe giving Kira some presents. Apparently that was kind of common practice. Smooth things over, maybe get better lessons.
But Asano wasn't having it.
Not at all. He flat out refused, said his job was to learn, not to bribe his teacher, and giving gifts to the shogun's servants. He saw that as completely unacceptable. It shows his strong sense of principle, maybe a bit rigid.
Yeah, principled, but maybe not practical in that setting.
Yeah.
Hayami must have been worried seeing his lord react so strongly.
He was, yeah. And it's key to remember that Oishi Yoshio, Asano's main advisor, wasn't even in Edo then. He was back at Akko Castle managing things with like 300 other samurai, so Asano's kind of isolated with this problem.
Okay, so we get to that spring day. Sources say it was nice weather, blue sky, birds.
Yeah, they paint this picture of peace right before the storm breaks. Asano gets dressed in his formal clothes, heads off for his lesson with Kira. We don't know exactly what his mood was, maybe tired, maybe simmering with anger from yesterday's insults.
It's hard to know the exact trigger, right?
We don't know the exact final straw. But then, suddenly, Kira tells Asano to wait, says he has something more important, and then he turns his back on him.
Whoa. A major insult in that context.
A huge insult, and apparently Kira throws in another jab, calls him a stupid man, maybe even insults his family, and that's it. Asano just snaps.
He draws his sword inside the palace.
He does. Shouts, "Lord Kira, stop a moment," and attacks him. It's chaos. He wounds Kira, cuts his head, but Kira doesn't go down.
The guards must have jumped in immediately.
Instantly, they surround Asano, take his sword. You just cannot overstate how serious this was. Drawing a sword, attacking someone inside the shogun's palace, it was unthinkable. A terrible crime.
And the punishment came fast.
Incredibly fast. By 4 o'clock that same afternoon, the order comes down from the shogun himself. Asano is a daimyo, so his death has to be honorable.
Seppuku.
Seppuku. By 6 o'clock that evening, it's done. He takes out a short sword, cuts his stomach, a really tragic end.
Meanwhile, his samurai in Edo, they must be reeling.
Absolutely. Kataoka, one of them, hears the news from another daimyo outside the palace. He just bolts back to Asano's Edo house, tells the others, Hayami included, the order is immediate, get horses, ride back to Asuko. Now.
Just like that.
Yeah.
In one day, Lord Asano is dead, and his samurai are Ronin.
Their world just completely turned upside down, masterless, purposeless in a way.
So back in Edo, the samurai who are still there, they're just trying to process this seppuku because he drew his sword on Kira.
Yeah, disbelief, confusion. Oishi, known for being level-headed, starts asking questions. They weren't there, right? What exactly happened? Was it a fair fight?
And Hayami has to deliver the news that Kira is actually alive, just a head wound.
Imagine hearing that your lord is dead for this act and the target is basically okay. Must have been infuriating, a real sense of injustice, perhaps.
So Ogishi asks about Asano's body.
Right. He learns it's been taken to Sengakuji Temple, just outside the city, and some samurai are already heading back to Akko. Probably just needed to get home, figure things out.
That ride back to Akko must have been grim, carrying that news, unsure about everything.
Totally grim. And then they get more bad news. Daigaku, Asano's younger brother, he's under house arrest in Edo. Yoshida, another senior guy close to Oishi, tells him.
So the whole family, the whole domain is in chaos.
Pretty much. Oishi manages to see Daigaku briefly in Hiroshima later, before Daigaku's handed over to the main family branch. But yeah, it's a mess.
Okay, so eventually, the samurai regroup back in Agako. How many of them?
Nearly 300 gather, and Oishi calls this meeting, it's described as loud, angry, you can just feel the tension.
And someone has to speak first, right? Let it all out.
That's Horib. He's known as a great swordsman, brave, but maybe a bit quick to speak. He just explodes. Asano was killed because of Kira. We need revenge. Now, it's the samurai way.
Classic warrior response. Honor demands it.
Exactly. But Oishi, while acknowledging Horib's sense of honor, brings them back to reality. Look, he says, we're Ronin now. The government sees what Asano did as a crime. We need to understand why it happened. Yes, we want revenge, but Kira has powerful friends. We can't just rush in.
He's urging caution. Strategy over pure emotion.
Right. But Harid's still fired up. Let's attack now, he says. People in Edo will support us.
But Yoshida, the more practical one, jumps in.
Yeah, Yoshida's like, hold on, attack Kira's mansion. It's heavily guarded. How do we even do that?
And someone else points out the castle problem.
Right. Another samurai pipes up. What if the government seizes Akko Castle because of this? How do we fight government soldiers? The practical problems are huge.
So Oishi steps in again. What does he say?
He brings it back to the core principle. Honor, he says, is more important than life without it. That's the code. He acknowledges their bravery, their fire,
Right.
But think carefully, he urges them. What is the true path to honor here? His idea is strategic. Go back to your families. Take formal leave from Akko. Think about this for 3 days.
A cooling off period and a test of commitment.
Exactly. And over those 3 days, a lot of them do leave, maybe to be with family, maybe hoping to find service elsewhere. Being a Ronin wasn't easy. Life was hard.
So when Oishi calls the next meeting,
The numbers are way down. Only 62 Ronin remain. It shows how tough that decision was.
Yoshida closes the doors. It feels very serious now.
Very. And Oishi finally speaks. He acknowledges their loyalty, their right to seek revenge. But then comes the big condition.
Which is?
Absolute silence, total secrecy. This won't be quick. It might take months, maybe years. They have to wait until Kira lets his guard down, until people forget about the Echo Samurai. If they want to succeed, they need patience. A long, secret wait.
So the government soldiers arrive, take Akko Castle, it's official, Asano's domain is gone, and the 62 Ronin, they don't leave together.
No, Oishi spoke to each one. Everyone had a part to play in this long game. They scattered. Some went to Edo, just melted into the city as workmen, guards, gardeners, anything to be inconspicuous.
Blending in. Others went elsewhere.
Osaka, other cities. The key instruction from Oishi was always secrecy. Don't talk about revenge. Assume Kira's spies are everywhere, watching, listening.
And Oishi himself, what did he do?
He moved his family wife, 3 kids near Kyoto. 3 other Ronin went with him, Kataoka, Mimura, and Hara. Hara actually found a job teaching archery.
Teaching archery. Katioka wasn't impressed, was he?
No. Karioka apparently scoffed at it, said it wasn't fitting for a samurai, but Hara reminded him, hey, we're Ronin now, we need to eat. Shows the tension, right? Pride versus necessity.
Yeah, definitely. And Karioka and Mimura were worried about Hara.
They were. Mimura even questioned Oishi about putting Hara in that spot. Kateoka noticed Hara getting angry, touchy about it. The strain was clearly getting to him.
And their numbers dropped again.
Down to 55. Keeping that many people committed to such a long, dangerous secret plan, it's incredibly difficult.
But then a break. Some intel comes in.
Yeah, from Isogai. He's one of the Ronin working undercover as a gardener in the Shogun's palace. He overhears that Kira isn't working in the palace anymore. He's living in his own big mansion near the Sumida River.
Ah, so he's potentially vulnerable outside the palace walls. A possible target.
Exactly. But Oishi is cautious. He says he needs to go to Edo himself, check it out. He tells Mimura to stay with the family in Kyoto. And he points out something important. Kira's wife is from the powerful Usugi family.
Meaning his mansion would be very well guarded.
Extremely well guarded. This won't be easy. And with only 55 men left, secrecy is even harder. Horib starts getting impatient again. How long are we waiting? Kira's getting old.
But Oishi insists.
Insists they start the planning phase. Secretly gathering armor, weapons. They need to be ready.
Okay, so Oishi and Karioka head back towards Kyoto, but Oishi starts acting strangely.
Yeah, he starts spending nights out in town, associating with bad men, is how the sources put it. Rumors start flying that he's lost his honor, given up.
And Hori confronts him.
Yes, Hara, already on edge, hears these rumors and confronts Oishi angrily, accuses him of abandoning them, of losing his honor.
How does Oishi react?
He gets furious, ordered Hara out of his house. Karioka follows Hara out, tries to calm him down.
What does Karioka tell him?
He finds Hara really upset, feeling betrayed. Karioka just urges patience, trust Oishi, even if it doesn't make sense right now.
Meanwhile, Mimura sees something suspicious back at Oishi's place.
Right. Late one night, he sees Oishi's cook talking secretly with another cook, who quickly leaves when Mimura appears. And Mimura notices the Yusudi family crest on the second cook's coat.
A spy. Sent by Kira.
That's what Mimura suspects. Karioka is skeptical at first.
But Oishi?
Oishi just smiles when he hears about it, confirms the suspicion, but he sees it as an advantage. Now they can feed Kira false information through this spy, make him think Oishi really has given up. It's a clever, risky move.
Wow. So time keeps passing. Spring, summer of 1702. Over a year since Asano died. No talk of revenge in Edo. The Ronin are just living quiet lives.
To the outside world, yes. It must have seemed like the threat was gone.
And then, end of summer 1702, Oishi stages another dramatic scene. With his wife.
Oh, yeah. He comes home late, very loudly dismisses his wife, Riku, says the marriage is over, tells her to take the daughters and go back to her father, even says he can find prettier women. It's brutal. Publicly shaming her.
Why would he do that? It seems so cruel.
Riku is devastated, crying, but Oishi keeps up the harsh words, saying she has to leave for her own safety, that the government might hurt them because of his actions. It's all part of the act.
So he explains it to her privately?
Yes. Later, in whispers, he tells her it's a necessary charade to convince everyone, especially Kira's spies, that he's truly fallen from grace. A huge sacrifice for her.
And their son, Chikara, he's about 15?
Yeah, Chikara wants to stay. He's ready to be a samurai, wants to be with his father. Oishi tells him to be ready, see him in the morning.
It must have been a long night for Oishi.
He didn't sleep, apparently. Just looked at the stars. Early morning, Chikara comes to him, says he's ready. Ready to die as a samurai beside his father.
Yeah, at 15.
Oishi praises his courage, says they need strong swordsmen. Chikara tells him his mother left an hour ago. Oishi just accepts it. The life of a samurai, he says. Now we have work to do. The waiting is almost over.
So, autumn 1702, the signal goes out.
Oishi sends secret messages, and slowly, carefully, the Ronins start making their way to Edo, different times, different routes, staying in separate safe houses. Very clandestine.
Oishi gets to Edo in November. Time for the final meeting.
Yes. In a noisy restaurant good cover, he gathers the 47 remaining men, and he gives them one last chance. Anyone who wants out, especially if they have young kids or old parents, can leave now. But those who stay, stay with honor.
Do any leave?
8 men choose to leave. A tough call, I'm sure. That leaves 47. From 16-year-old Chikara up to a 76-year-old veteran, fathers and sons, brothers, all committed.
And in those final weeks, they prepare. Farewell letters.
Many wrote letters, yes. Knowing this could be the end. They study the plans of Kira's mansion, High walls, 132 meters by 61 meters. 2 gates, east and west. A long building inside, courtyards, gardens. It's a fortress.
What's Oishi's attack plan?
2 groups. Hit the front and back gates at the exact same time. Stop anyone escaping to get help from the Yusugi family. It has to be fast and coordinated.
Do they know how many people are inside? Guards?
Hayami asks that. They don't know for sure. Maybe over 120 people total. Perhaps 20 guards. They know they're outnumbered.
But they have weapons. Armor.
Horib confirms it. Spears, bows, arrows for everyone, all have armor. They're as ready as they can be. Oishi says the attack happens only when they know Kira is definitely home.
And the night they choose.
December 14th, 1702. A dark night, snow falling. Ito is asleep. The Ronin put on their armor, grab their weapons. They wait for midnight. The air must have been thick with tension.
Oishi gives them one last speech.
Just before they leave. Reminds them why they're here. Almost 2 years of waiting for Lord Asano. The goal: kill Lord Kira Yoshinaka. Fight his guards, yes, but do not harm women and children. And when you find Kira, blow the whistle.
And they move out, silently through the snow.
47 shadows moving towards Kira's mansion. Oishi and Hera lead the front gate group. Yoshida with young Chikara leads the back gate group.
And they put up signs. What did they say?
Yeah, outside the mansion walls, declaring who they are. Ronin from Akko, taking revenge on Kira for Lord Asano's death. We're not thieves, they say. We won't harm others, making their purpose absolutely clear.
Okay, the attack begins. Front gate.
4 men scale the wall, surprise the guards, tie them up. Then they break open the gate from inside. At the same time, Yoshida's group hits the back gate.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Exactly. Shouting, swords clashing, screams. The fight in the main front room is fierce. Kira's samurai fight hard. 3 swordsmen hold Oishi's men back for a while.
But the Ronin push through.
Eventually, yes.
Right.
Hera and 2 others finally kill those 3 samurai, clearing the way. At the back, it's just as intense. One of Kira's guys attacks Yoshida, tries to get under his sword arm with a knife.
Close call.
Yoshida falls back, but Horib jumps in, defends him, cuts the attacker down. They move into the next room, fighting everywhere.
Kira's men fought bravely, though.
They did, but the Ronin were just relentless, fueled by 2 years of waiting. Many are wounded on both sides, but incredibly, no Ronin die that night.
They search room by room, but no Kira.
Nowhere. The 2 groups finally meet in the middle of the mansion. Fighting stops. 17 of Kira's guards and servants are dead. Others fled. Women and children crying. But still no Kira.
Oishi calls out to Yoshida. Where is he?
Yeah. Then they find him, an old man hiding in a woodshed out in the garden. They ask his name. He won't speak.
But someone recognizes him.
One of the Ronin does, and he blows the whistle.
The signal. Everyone gathers.
All the Ronin converge. Oishi steps forward, holds up a light, sees the old scar on his head from Asano's attack. It's him.
How does Oishi address him?
Formally. Lord Kira Yoshinaka. We are Asano's samurai, he says. We've come for revenge. Lord Asano died with honor by seppuku. We ask you to do the same. Die bravely. He places Asano's knife on the ground before him.
Giving Kira a chance for an honorable end.
Yes. But Kira just shakes his head, silent, terrified. Oishi asks again, shows him the knife. Kira refuses, won't take it, won't move. He won't die with honor.
So
Oishi stands up, bows one last time to Kira. Then he draws his own sword and takes Kira's head. It's over. 3 in the morning.
They tie the head to a spear.
Yes. Their long wait for vengeance is finally finished. Oishi says they must leave now. Take the head to Asano's grave at Sengakuji. One last act for their lord. Then they'll be ready for death themselves.
But first, they put out the fires.
Right. Very responsible, even then. Didn't want the mansion fire spreading through Ito's wooden buildings.
And the 47th Ronin, Terasaka.
Oishi orders him to leave, go to Hiroshima, tell Daigaku, Asano's brother, what they've done. His job is to carry the news.
So 46 Ronin leave the mansion.
Carrying the spear with Kira's head. Oishi walking in front, Yoshida and Chikara beside him. They start the long walk to Sengakuji, and people are starting to come out of their houses now, watching them pass in the snow.
Where exactly was Sengakuji? Far from Kira's place.
About 10 kilometers. And they were careful, worried about Kira's Yusugi family guards maybe attacking them. So they stayed away from Edo Palace, walked along the east side of the river, crossed at the Itai Bridge.
And they sent messengers to the government.
Yeah, 2 Ronins went to Edo Palace to officially report what they'd done, taking responsibility.
As morning breaks, The news is spreading like crazy through Edo.
Oh yeah, people everywhere talking, whispering, the killing of Lord Kira, the revenge of the 47 Ronin. It's the only thing anyone's talking about.
And the public reaction was generally positive, admiring them.
Overwhelmingly, it seems. People called them brave men, loyal samurai. They saw it as upholding the samurai code, especially after waiting almost 2 years. It really captured the public imagination.
So they finally get to Sengakuji Temple, near Asano's grave.
Yes. They arrive, wash Kira's head in the temple, well, a sort of ritual purification, and then present it at Lord Asano's grave, the final offering.
Oishi kneels down with the others.
All 46 kneel. And Oishi speaks to Lord Asano, tells him they served him, they couldn't bear to live under the same sky as his enemy, and now, finally, revenge is done. He says, "Young and old, we, the Ronin of Ako, are your loyal servants. We serve you by sword and by spear, in life and in death." It's incredibly moving.
How long did the head stay there?
2 days, a public statement, then the temple priests took it away, returned it to Kira's family.
And then the authorities step in, arrest them.
Yes. The shogun's officers arrest the 46. They don't put them in a common prison, though. They take them to the mansions of 4 different daimyo to await judgment. Oishi and 16 others go to the Hosokawa mansion near Sengakuji.
And people lined the streets to watch them being taken.
Yeah, something like 1,400 samurai actually walked with them through the snow as a sign of respect. The whole city watched. Even under arrest, they were being treated with a kind of honor.
So the shogun has a real problem now. Killing is a crime, obviously.
But in that time, not taking revenge for your lord, that was seen as dishonorable. A huge dilemma. Public opinion was strong, too.
Many people thought they did the right thing. Loyal, brave samurai following the code.
A lot of people felt that way, yeah. And argued they deserved a samurai's death, seppuku, not a criminal's execution.
But others disagreed. Said Asano started it, Kira didn't actually kill him, so revenge wasn't justified.
Exactly. That side argued they were just killers, plain and simple, and broke the shogun's law, deserved a killer's death.
The government took weeks to decide.
Yes, deliberating for a long time. Finally, in March 1703, weeks after Kira's death, the order comes. They must die. But because of their loyalty, their adherence to bushido in a way, they would be allowed the samurai death, seppuku.
Acknowledging their honor even while condemning their action.
Precisely. And that same day, in those 4 daimyo mansions, the 46 Ronin prepared. One by one, in the courtyards, they performed the ritual. Their bodies were then taken to Sengakuji.
Buried near their master, Lord Asano.
Right beside him, 46 graves.
But wait, what about Terasaka? The messenger?
Yes. Terasaka. He came back from Hiroshima after delivering the news, went straight to the authorities and asked for the same fate as his comrades. Death by seppuku.
But the shogun spared him?
Felt sorry for him, perhaps because he was young, or maybe because his role was different. Terasaka didn't commit seppuku. He lived a long life, actually, to 83.
And when he died?
He was buried at Sengakuji too, as the 47th grave, completing the number.
It's just an incredible story. And people in Japan still remember it so vividly.
Absolutely. 300 years on, it's still discussed, debated. Every year, December 14th, there's a festival at Sengakuji Temple, remembering Asano, remembering his loyal Ronin. Thousands of people go. Their story definitely hasn't been forgotten.
So we've traced it all. Asano's death, the Ronin forming, that long, patient wait, the attack on Kira, and finally, their own honorable deaths. It's a story that really covers the spectrum of human emotion and duty.
It really does. And it's endured because it touches on these huge themes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Honor, loyalty, revenge, what they mean, what they cost.
Yeah, they're timeless questions. It really makes you think. Were they justified in the end? Was seppuku the right judgment from the shogun? How does a story like this sit with our ideas of justice and honor today?
Exactly. There are no easy answers, are there? It's definitely something to reflect on. And maybe it encourages you, the listener, to explore some of the plays or films or books that retell this amazing piece of history.